First impressions aren't always accurate. If they were, this review of Avalon Hill's Kingmaker would be a lengthy list of expletives followed by a heartfelt plea to destroy any copy of the game that you happen to come across. I could pretend that my devotion to truth, justice, and the American way made me stick with this game, but that would be a bold-faced lie. What actually happened was that I felt my boss would be slightly upset if I completely trashed something based on just 3 or 4 failed attempts at playing it. Therefore, I kept plugging away and discovered that once you figure Kingmaker out, it's actually entertaining. The background for this game is the 15th century equivalent of the smoke-filled rooms of modern politics. The War of the Roses. During this troubled time in British history, different factions battled for control of the throne. However, members of the monarchy who supposedly ruled the country were merely figureheads for the real powers who were pulling the strings from behind the scenes. To become Kingmaker, you must eliminate all other pretenders to the throne so that your own ineffectual puppet can take charge. Unlike the 1990s, when failed politicians simply become obscenely rich lobbyists, an unsuccessful bid for king in the War of the Roses results in death. When all of the other royal heirs are eliminated, your lackey takes over the country, making you a very important person indeed. That sounds a lot simpler than this game actually is. There are 2 separate lines of royal heirs along with a slew of titled and untitled nobles who all play a major role as the different factions battle for control. As if sorting out this jumbled cast of characters weren't enough, figuring out how to play the game requires the patience of a saint. To quote directly from the manual, for the first few games, the best strategy might seem bewilderingly obscure. Truer words have never been spoken. The most important part of this game actually takes place well before the first battle when you build your faction. This is where you discover which nobles are backing your cause and what resources are available to you. By assigning the available offices and titles available to your faction to your untitled nobles, you can improve your chances of success. Once the game begins, your main goal is to capture royal heirs. Some are wandering aimlessly around the countryside and are easy to snag, while others are held by opposing factions and fiercely protected. Don't get too attached to these heirs. The first thing you're asked once you capture one is whether you wish to execute him or her. In addition to the complex strategy, Kingmaker's interface adds to the game's difficulty. The information menus, which allow you to change your own faction and trace the whereabouts of the royal heirs and opposing factions, are actually easy to find and use. However, moving your troops around on the map takes some getting used to. Since the screen changes to a close-up, leaving you a very small area to work in, you're forced to change screens if you wish to move any distance. In a strange, twisted sort of way, I got a lot more out of Kingmaker than I thought I would. Having struggled as much as I did when I first started playing, I felt damn good when I finally wrestled this beast to its knees and started to understand what was going on. If you're into instant gratification, you'll hate the game, but if you enjoy a stiff challenge, Kingmaker will be a crowning achievement.